construction in 2016, narrowly losing to Chris Rakedahl. She's also a public speaker and focuses much of her work on issues of race and equality. King5's Joyce Taylor is in the newsroom now with that interview. Joyce?
Yeah. Jessica, Greg, thanks so much. Joining us tonight is Erin Jones, who, with so many of us, watched as the verdicts came down today. Erin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Your text to me right out of the gate with the decision was, OMG, I'm sobbing. What were you feeling?
Well, for those who don't know, I was born almost exactly 50 years ago out of the body of a white woman in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So actually I was born in St. Paul, right on the edge of Minneapolis, but she abandoned me in a hospital because my father was Negro. And so this story has been really emotional for me because much of my family still lives in Minneapolis, and I just feel a tie to the story for so many reasons.
And your family and the reaction throughout this hasn't been what you were hoping. How are they reacting today?
So I would say my parents, I was adopted by white people from northern Minnesota right away as a little girl. Some of our extended family, I'm not going to name anyone, has not been responding well over the last 3 weeks. And we've been told by certain family members if Black people just wouldn't use drugs, if Black people would just follow the directions of police, we wouldn't have this kind of situation. And that has been super hard to hear for me and hard to know how even to respond to them.
Well, here we are today. It felt like justice was on trial, that our country was on trial. So much was at stake. In your view, what was at stake?
Our democracy. You know, my parents kind of left America when I was 5 to go to another country to raise their Black daughter. And so I have lived in other countries, and I believe we had this notion of America that has, we've seen a different thing in the last year. And I would say that since I came back to the U.S. 30 years ago for college, I've seen a very different America than was painted in the textbooks that I read in Europe. But in the last year, if you had any question about whether or not race was an issue, you saw it on full display. And so I really believe our democracy, not just for Black people, but our democracy, our nation, our integrity as a country, our founding documents really were in play in this moment. And I think this is not the answer, but it is the beginning of a solution to make us actually live up to our founding documents.
I was listening to President Biden talk about the fact that so many people have been traumatized by the images that we've seen, not just of George Floyd, but of so many Black people over the last year. Black people who are saying, well, that could be me, or that could be my child. So you have kids, I have kids. This was not the verdict that my son was expecting, and he said, Mom, this has never happened in my lifetime. I think he was stunned. What are you saying to your kids about this and what this moment means moving forward?
So I know my daughter in particular is really traumatized by all of it. She and I were on the phone on Tuesday night for an hour, like at midnight. She was so traumatized by Dante Wright and all the things. I would say I have one son who's autistic, and he's just like staying away. He's like, I don't even want to watch anything. My other son has been yelling all week. He's 26 and he's a rugby player, and he's just been yelling and mad all week. And I haven't gotten a chance to talk to any of them yet. But the conversation we will have is, how do we become part of the solution now? This is not the end. My children all know this. I do racial equity work. So my children know about the history and they know the systemic issues. And so I think they'll be relieved a little bit, but they are very aware that we've got so much more work to do.
So I know a lot of people are hoping this is an inflection point, maybe the beginning of real change. We'll have to see. We'll have more time to talk with you again later. Appreciate your time, Erin Jones. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Joyce, thank you.